kanilang 75th season with veteran sports anchor Boom Gonzalez and of course, one of the best young minds in basketball, Coach Charles Tiu. And then we talk also about the upcoming or the current PBA Finals and of course, yung mga kaganapan sa kanyang koponan with newly appointed head coach ng Blackwater Bossing, si Coach Ariel Vanguardia. Kaya po, mga kapatid, dyan lang kayo. Huwag kayong aalis sapagkat napakarami na naman ang ating itatampok dito po sa inyong programa tuwing Sabado ng umaga, ang Power and Play. But of course, lagi po nating sinisimulan ang ating palatuntunan sa pamamagitan ng ating Sports Weekly Highlights. It's a good week para sa mga Pinoy sports fans, lalo't nagbukas na ang 2021-2022 NBA season. Sinimulan ng Milwaukee Bucks ang taon sa ring ceremony at banner unveiling bago talunin ang Brooklyn Nets 127-104. Sa West naman, ginulat ng Golden State Warriors ang Los Angeles Lakers sa Staples Center 121-114. Kasabay ng opening week ng NBA 75th season, pinangalanan din ang 75 greatest players ng NBA. Pasok dyan lahat ng miyembro ng 1996 50th anniversary team at may 11 active players din na pinangalanan sa prestigyosong listahan. Kasama dyan sina Giannis Antetokounmpo, Carmelo Anthony, Stephen Curry, Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, James Harden, LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, Damian Lillard, Chris Paul at Russell Westbrook. Mamaya hihimayin natin kasama ang dalawang NBA experts. Segue muna tayo sa mundo ng chess. Nadepensahan ni Wesley So ang kanyang US chess title. Naungusan ni So ang dalawa pang grandmasters na sina Fabiano Caruana at Sam Sevian para makuha rin ang kanyang ikatlong title sa tournament. Inuwi ng full-blooded Pinoy na nire-representa na ngayon ang Amerika ang $50,000 prize money. Tumbling naman tayo sa gymnastics. Umarangkada si Carlos Yulo sa elimination round ng 2021 World Artistic Gymnastics Championship sa Japan. Pasok si Kaloy sa final round ng parallel bars, vault apparatus at floor exercise kung saan siya ang defending champion. Ngayong weekend, 3 gold medal ang pwedeng makuha ng 21-year-old wonder boy sa Japan. Laban Kaloy! Puso! Balik tayo sa basketball. Nagpadala ng sulat ang Samahang Basketball ng Pilipinas sa FIBA at Chinese Taipei Basketball Association kaugnay ng paglalaro o napipintong paglalaro ni Jordan Heading sa Taiwan League. Under contract pa kasi ng SBP si Heading hanggang 2023. Kasama sa Special Gilas Pilipinas draft ng PBA si Heading kung saan siya ang #1 pick ng Terra Firma Jeep. At sa PBA naman, 2-0 na ang bakbakang TNT Tropang Giga at Magnolia Hotshots sa Philippine Cup Finals pagkatapos manalo ang TNT sa Game 2 sa score na 105-93. Tuloy-tuloy ang pag-aarangkada ng TNT na target wakasan ang 6-year title drought. 3-0 na kaya bukas o makakasilat ng isang panalo ang Hotshots? Tutukan natin yan mamaya. Alright mga kaibigan, tuloy-tuloy po ang ating pag nakita nyo ba yung laro kagabi ng TNT at Magnolia, pambihira. Ang ginawa na naman ni Mikey Williams. At alam nyo, pag tinitingnan ko yung larong yun, tila ang nagiging problema ay ang mga gwardya. Hirap na hirap ang mga gwardya ng Magnolia na bantayan ang mga maliliksi at magagaling na gwardya ng talk and text. And of course, the injuries have been a big factor. And that's why this series has been so far on the side ng TNT. Pero of course, malayo pa ang seryeng ito. And alam naman natin si Coach Chito Victolero will always make the adjustments. Of course, pinag-uusapan po natin kanina ang basketball. Well, NBA nga, nagsimula na and napangalanan na po ang 75 greatest NBA players. So many great names, so many Hall of Famers, at napakadami ring mga tinatawag na controversial na hindi naisama. Ganoon naman lagi, di ba? Ang hirap pong i-please lahat ng fans sa kanilang mga choices. But Yan po ang ating pupulsuhan ngayong araw na ito. Kasi nga, napangalanan na po ang 75 greatest players ng NBA. Siguro kayo sang-ayon, pero siguro din meron sa inyong tumututol. So ang ating pupulsuhan po ngayong araw na ito, napakadali lamang. Dahil pinangalanan na nga ng NBA ang kanilang 75 greatest players sa kanilang 75th season, para sa inyo, sino ang top 5 NBA greatest of all time? Naku, ang hirap niyan. Pagpipilian nyo sa 75, 5 ang pipiliin yung greatest NBA players of all time. Ako I'll give you already two of my greatest. Michael Jordan and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Mamaya sasabihin ko pa yung aking tatlo. Pero sa akin, yung dalawang yan should be in the greatest of all time na starting 5. Now, yung tatlo, mamaya, sasabihin ko sa inyo yung aking mga napili. Pero kung gusto niyo po talakayan sa amin, mag-text lamang sa 0908-208-0629. Ulitin ko po yan 0908-208-0629. O di kaya ay mag-comment sa Facebook page ng Power and Play o Facebook page ng 1PH at ng Radyo 5. Mamaya po, babasahin natin yan 5 greatest players of all time mula dun sa listahan ng 75 greatest NBA players in their 75th season. Alright, mga kaibigan, siyempre, ito ang paborito na natin as we continue with the show, ang ating paboritong segment ng ating umaga. Ito po ang ating segment na tinatawag na Fast Take. Ang Fast Take ay hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Tigo. It's fun to drive. At ngayong araw pong ito, muling makakasama natin sa ating mga Fast Takers, ang mga nagbabalik na Fast Takers. Walang iba kundi si Bong Lazada ng Inquirer at si Jonas Terado ng Manila Bulletin. Magandang umaga, Jonas and Bong. Maaga-maaga. Good to see you guys and thank you for joining us again sa Power and Play.
Hi, Com. Good morning po.
Maganda kayo mainggit. Sa susunod, dito na rin kayo. Napakaganda ng itong lugar na to, kaya talagang natutuwa tayo. Bago tayo magpunta sa ating mga fast take issues, Bong and Jonas, meron tayong pinupulsuhan yung 5 greatest NBA players of all time. Kayo nga, sige nga, tingnan ko nga ang listahan ninyo. Meron na ba kayong napili dun sa listahang 75 greatest? Bong, I'll start with you. Meron ka bang limang greatest para sa'yo?
Sa akin, Com, si ano po. In no particular order. Siyempre MJ, LeBron, for big man, I'll go with Kareem, Bill Russell. Gawin ko na power forward sa Russell. And para sa another wing, Magic. Yun yung ano ko.
Wow.
Yun yung top 5. Yun yung top 5 pero hindi favorite 5.
Oo, at saka in no particular order dahil syempre alam natin iba-ibang ating ranking niya, but Russell and Kareem, wala na makakashoot dyan sa ilalim, and then some of the greatest passers there. Ikaw, Jonas, sino ang 5 greatest of all time mo sa NBA?
Ako, sa akin, siyempre si Jordan, then LeBron, Kobe, Bill Russell, and Magic Johnson. Alas pareho na kami ni Bong.
Pareho lang. mukhang unanimous Mukhang unanimous Pero alam mo, maraming nagsasabi na yung listahan daw, ang daming nasnab dyan If there was one particular player na sa tingin nyo dapat nasa listahan na yan, sino kaya yun, Bong? Para sa'yo.
Para sa akin, si Dwight Howard. Munti ko na masabi Ramos. Dwight Howard po.
Dwight Howard. Well, Hall of Famer for sure yan. Ikaw Jonas, ang tingin mo, sino sa'yo?
Ako, kahit gusto ko si Damian Lillard, gusto kong tanggalin sa 75 team Tapos ilagay
parang bata pa, no? Parang bata.
Oo nga Oo. Ilagay siguro si T-Mac dahil baklase naman din yung T-Mac nung kapanahonan niya
Oo. Maraming ang nagsasabi noon si T-Mac si Vince Carter, wala dyan. Ako, even Kevin Love, alam mo, ang daming naging panalo ni Kevin Love. Chris Bosh, wala rin dyan si Chris Bosh, no? And then you have yung old-timers, no? Kagaya ni Pau Gasol, si Tony Parker, si Manu Ginobili. Marami pang player dyan na nawala dyan. So, very interesting yung listahan na yun. But of course, yung kanyang mga listahan na pinili ng 88 mga NBA experts, journalists, players, etc. Talagang magdadala ng kontrobersya. Ganun naman talaga lagi. Alright, gentlemen, alam niyan itong usapan natin sa Fast Take. Dito, ang opinion nyo ang mahalaga. Bato-bato sa langit, tamaan, huwag magagalit. Walang tama, walang mali. Unahin natin ang ating unang Fast Take issue of the morning. Si Wesley So ay nanalo muli ng US Open Chess Championship. Siya ang isa sa pinakamahusay na chess grandmasters today. Ang tanong, dahil bagamat siya ay isang Pilipino, siya ay naglalaro na ngayon under the American flag. So ang chess grandmaster na si Wesley So na ba, ang tinatawag nating the biggest totga? Ano po yung totga? The one that got away from Philippine sports. I will begin with you, Bong. 1 minute. Go.
For me, as an athlete, pwede pong si Wesley So. But I'll throw in another name. Si Ma'am Lydia De Vega. Of course, she's not active anymore, but she chose to coach in Singapore. Imagine if she's coaching here right now in the Philippines. She could give much more impact sa Patafa. Ang dami po niya maitutulong sa ating burgeoning athletic stars. That's as a coach po. Another name I could say is super luma. Paulino Alcantara of FC Barcelona. Before Lionel Messi, before yung greats ng 90s, 80s of FC Barcelona, there was Paulino Alcantara. Imagine if he had represented the Philippines way before, but it was way before pa. So those are my two names though.
Talagang research si Bong and those are really good names na nabanggit mo yan. So same issue, Jonas. Grandmaster Wesley So, kampiyon muli sa US. Siya na ba ang the biggest totga o the one that got away mula sa Philippine sports? 1 minute, Jonas. Go.
Kung sa akin, masasabi ko yes and no. Yes, dahil nakikita natin yung mga success niya sa international chess. Tatalo niya yung mga bigatin na mga manlalaro tulad ni Magnus Carlsen. Dahil sa ganung sitwasyon niya na nirepresent niya yung Amerika, kasi masakit sa atin yun dahil kahit alam natin Pilipino siya, iba yung nirepresent ng bansa. Kaso, masabi ko rin no kasi kung siguro natili rito si Wesley na nag-represent sa bansa natin, hindi natin masabi. Baka mamaya yung progress niya hindi natin makita. Alam naman natin yung sitwasyon ng chess dito at that time bago siya umalis, magulo. So, in a way, masaya na rin tayo na kahit America nirepresent niya, successful siya.
Excellent. Alam mo, yun ang magandang point doon, Jonas, na hindi naman natin alam kung ganito rin ang mangyayari sa kanya kung siya ay naiwan dito sa ating bansa. Of course, huli na ang sisihan, andyan na yan. Ang atin na lang dapat sigurong gawin ay huwag nang magkaroon pa ng isa pang Wesley So. Alam mo, ang daming nagkakampanya ngayon abroad. Alam natin na nariyan ang mga golfers natin. Of course, Yuka Saso is a Filipino-Japanese at marami nagtatanong baka si Yuka Saso ay iiwan na rin ang Pilipinas. Andyan of course ang mga pamangkin ko, si Alex Ayala nagkakampanya sa tennis, and of course siya ay nasa Spain. So there are many athletes abroad, mga boxers na sana naman hindi matulad kay Wesley So dahil ang pakiramdam ni Wesley hindi siya masyadong nabigyan ng suporta. Alright, let's go to our second Fast Take issue of the morning. Punta tayo sa PBA. Nakita natin ang laban kagabi. Napakagandang pukpukan, although so far it has been totally dominated by the Tropang Giga. So ang tanong, Sino ang early finals MVP nyo sa Philippine Cup? Ulitin ko yan ha. Sino ang early finals MVP ninyo sa ating ongoing Philippine Cup finals? I'll begin with you, Jonas. 1 minute. Go.
There's no question ang early candidate sa finals MVP si Mikey Williams. Nakikita natin ngayon yung kung anong klaseng talento si Mikey Williams daw is playing sa 2 weeks na to. Alam na natin yung semi-final series against San Miguel, and even in the eliminations, medyo inconsistent yung shooting niya kahit na bibigay niya yung numbers niya. Pero ngayon, dahil wala na si Chris Ross, wala na yung depensa ng San Miguel, parang nakawala sa hula si Mikey Williams, and doing an excellent job for TNT. If ever naman ang Magnolia, kung makakaabol pa naman sila, siyempre si Ian Sanga lang ang early candidate. Dahil sa kagabi, kahit may masakit likod niya, he had 25 points. And kung masustain niya siguro yung performance ngayon, and if the other players mag-step up na, tulad nila Calvin and Paul Lee, baka makahabol Magnolia.
Tama yan. Alam naman natin na ginagawa ni Mikey Williams so far. Marami nga nagsasabi, medyo maliit na mga gwardiya ng Magnolia. Hindi kagaya ni Chris Ross na nung kalaban niya ang SMB. Bong, same issue. Sino ang maagang finals MVP mo sa ongoing Philippine Cup Finals? Go, Bong.
Sa akin ko, same answer as Sir Jonas, si Mikey Williams po. Kahit rookie, talagang napapakita niya na may composure siya, na he can lead the team. He can lead a veteran TNT team as a rookie. And he leads TNT in points, rebounds, assists, and minutes played. So, yung basic numbers lang na yon is shows na he can be the star that the TNT Tropang Giga needs, and the TNT Tropang Giga has been waiting for, na pwede nang pampalit kay Jason Castro. He can be the foundation of TNT for a long time, and yun nga po, well, pwede rin nating sabihin na natuto na siya after madepensahan ni Chris Ross for 7 games, because yung semi-final series niya talagang up and down yung numbers niya. 33% shooting lang siya nung buong series, but now almost 50% from overall and from the three.
Maganda yung puntong yan, ha? Talagang natuto na siya. I think yung experience niya no semifinals, nag-settle down na yung rookie, although he's a 29-year-old rookie na magiging 30 anyos na in a couple of days. Pero talagang makikita mo yung maturity niya, and of course yung kanyang leadership on the floor. Of course, RR Pogoy has also been playing very well para sa talk and text. On the other hand, of course, sabi na nga ni Jonas kanina, si Ian Sanggalang para sa Magnolia. Dahil hindi naman natin dinidiscount na makakabalik pa dito Magnolia. But of course, with the way things are going, Paul Lee is injured. Parang off ang game ni Gio Halalon. Even si Calvin Abueva is having a problem with the defense ng talk and text. I think it will be an uphill climb. Sana nga maging gumanda pa ang serye natin sa PBA Philippine Cup Finals. All right, let's go to our third and final take issue of the morning. Punta pa rin tayo sa basketball. Narinig na natin na meron ng pinaplanong pagbubukas ang UAAP ng kanilang susunod na season, most probably sa Pebrero daw, itong susunod na taon. So ang tanong, ngayong magbubukas na ang UAAP, magiging malaki bang impact nito sa kampanya ng Gilas Pilipinas, considering na napakaraming mga collegiate players na naglalaro dyan sa ating Gilas Pilipinas training pool? I will begin with you, Bong. 1 minute. Go!
Kasi ito na naman po tayo dun sa dating issue na laging lumalabas pag may international tournament, yung availability ng players. Nangyari na to nung yung Gilas is comprised of PBA players, but now it's the kids. Pero majority of the Gilas ngayon is playing for Ateneo. So once mag-start ang UAAP, dun pati yung coach, Tab Baldwin, is with Ateneo. So paano natin i-juggle yon? Paano natin i-juggle yung availability ng players and ni Coach Tab, especially nasa pandemic pa rin tayo? Paano yun gagalawin? Paano kung mag-bubble yung UAP? Paano po kung syempre naka-bubble yung FIBA? So yun yung main issue, availability ng players. And halimbawa, walang games sa PBA noon, pwede ba bang kumuha ng players ang SBPs from PBA? And may player departures pa like kay Heading kanina. So, availability of coach staff and players.
Well, of course, that will be the impact kung magsimula ang UAAP. Considering meron tayong window na lalaruin next year, no? Ang dami-dami niyan. So again, maganda mga tanong yan. Same issue, Jonas. Ngayon na magbubukas na ang UAAP in February of 2022, ito pa ay magkakaroon ng malaking impact sa Gilas, Pilipinas. 1 minute, Jonas. Go!
Kung sa palagay ko, parang kung February 22 ang balak nila mag-start, ang tanong ko lang kung matutuloy ba yung plano na yan dahil ang dami pang kailangang i-deal, mga lalo na ngayong pandemya. Tsaka if ever na matuloy itong UAP, I think they're willing to talk to sa Gilas and DSBP, possibly to fix the schedule and all of that para mabigyan ng time yung mga bata na nasa UAP na makapaglaro sa Gilas. But I think yung more pressing issue din is yung ibang players lalo na nasa abroad, kung makakapunta pa sila rito para sumali sa Gilas upang palakasin yung team, lalo na World Cup qualifiers yan na medyo mas mabigat na yung mga kalaban natin, although we're using that to prepare for the World Cup.
Magandang punto yan, yung mga nasa sa labas ng bansa. And that's something na dapat din pag-usapan. Of course, we're talking about Kai Soto at lahat ng sila Lebron Lopez na naglalaro sa ibang bansa. Hopefully, ay makasama natin yan. But ako, personally, sabi ni Coach Tab Baldwin, kaya siya gumagawa ng pool para matutunan ang sistema niya and marami siyang pagpipilian. Ako, ang feeling ko siguro, hindi naman siguro malaki ang magiging impact nito. Pero, again, yung sinasabi ni Bong, pwede bang humugot ng PBA player? Yun na naman yung problema. Kailangan nila matuto sa sistema ni Coach Tab Baldwin. So, again, a lot of questions and a lot of things have to be answered as we approach the FIBA windows. Well, again, it's been a very informative morning and ingat kayo. Bagamat bumababa ng ating mga kaso, patuloy dapat tayo mag-ingat. Bong at saka Jonas, thank you so much for joining us sa Fast Take.
Thank you po. Ingat po.
Enjoy kayo dyan.
Maraming salamat. Mga kaibigan, ating mga kaibigan sa hanap buhay, Bong Losada ng Inquirer and Jonas Terrado ng Manila Bulletin. Alright. Yes. At of course, tuloy-tuloy po tayo sa ating palatuntunan ng Power and Play. Bago tayo mag-break, we have a very, very special guest now. And just because tayo po ay nandito remote sa napakagandang resort ng Acea Beach Resort sa Subic, makakasama po natin ngayon ang Events and Banquet Manager ng Asea mismo, walang iba kundi si Melissa Corilla. Magandang umaga, Melissa.
Sir Nolly. Kamusta ka dyan?
Ayun! Salamat. Thank you so much for hosting us ngayong Sabado ng umaga, Melissa. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining us dito sa Power and Play. Andito ka sa di ba? I mean,
Yes, I'm here sa resort po. Medyo nagtago lang.
Siyempre. Tsaka yung you're very careful about social distancing dito sa resort. That's why natutuwa rin kami. Now, let me just ask a little bit about Asea, Melissa, because it's a beautiful place dito sa Subic, nestled in the bay, ang ganda ng pool, ang ganda ng sites. Ang tanong ko, are you already welcoming guests and ano ba mga requirements ng Asea, Melissa?
Okay. So, sir, good morning, and welcome to all of our viewers here at Acea Subic Beach Resort. Yes, we have already welcomed fully vaccinated guests of 18 to 65 years old without an RT-PCR requirement. So they just have to simply present their vaccination card together with a valid government ID, Sir Nolly. And then, of course, they have to make their booking prior.
Oo.
Mabilis na ubos yung rooms. Madaming gustong lumabas right now.
Talaga, nakikita ko nga, daming tao dito sa Asea na nag-i-enjoy. Talagang
Yes.
nag-i-enjoy.
And furthermore, individuals of all ages are now welcomed for a stay here at Acea Subic.
What can the guests expect dito sa resort, Melissa?
Okay, so here in Asea, we always strive to be as the top destination here in Subic. We all know that Subic is just 2 to 3 hours away from Manila now. So if you're someone who's looking for a quick getaway, so we want people to think, oh, let's go to Asea. Let's go to Asea para lang maka-breathe and relax from their usual routine po.
And of course, we can see all of the facilities, all of the things that we can do here. Pwede mag-jet ski. You have an infinity pool.
We do.
I had an opportunity na gamitin yung inyong music room. You have a
Uh-huh.
gym. Beautiful.
We do
Ang daming.
have. We have
Oo, no?
everything. Kamusta yung beach mo kahapon, sir?
Naku, ang ganda. Alam mo, ang ganda ng beach, hindi mabato, very calm ang waters, very safe para sa mga bata, Melissa, no? But, alam natin dito sa area ng Subic, ang dami-daming mga resorts and of course,
Uh-huh.
ang daming destinations na pwedeng
Yes.
puntahan. Lalo na ng ating mga kababayan na ngayon na naghahanap ng konting respite from our quarantines and our lockdown.
Absolutely.
What makes it different? What makes Asea different from other destinations dito sa side na to, itong Subic Bay?
Okay. So to start with, Sir Nolly, we have the best view of Mount Cinco Picos update, no? In fact, our logo is traced from it. So from where you are right now, you can see the mountain in front of you, right? So that's the view that you can see and wherever you are in the resort.
Yeah,
And
no?
then, yes, the resort is strategically situated in a lush field and breezy ocean front where fun, adventures, and relaxing activities awaits all in our guests. And aside
Oh.
from that, there is a limitless fun and play featuring our amenities here in the resort. Like what you've said a while ago, sir, we have this gym, we have the game room, we have this music lounge, we have the most beautiful and largest infinity pool here in Central Luzon. So we have water sports activities as well. And to top it off is our hotel grade rooms and our food, sir. I ba- Can you share your experience
Oh,
about our food?
alam mo, that's the other thing that I was so happy about, yung culinary experience, the food. Last night, there was a barbecue night.
Uh-huh.
And we had wonderful, dinner, a wonderful dinner, barbecue dinner, merong yakitori, merong liempo, merong Angus beef. Ang
There's
sarap. And of course, the
steak.
seafood. Yeah, yung seafood ninyo, yung tuna, ang sarap. And then I saw meron kayong mga bikes that you can
Yes.
rent. Tama ba yun?
Yes, we have bike for rentals.
Oh.
Because Subic is also a destination for bikers and riders, and in fact, we have a lot of bikers here at the resort every weekend. Like after their bike, they just want to have their breakfast, and you know how delicious our breakfasts are, our buffet breakfast. So parang pagod na sila, sige kain tayo sa Asea. So parang ito
Oo.
nagiging destination talaga nila.
Melissa, before I let you go, I know bawal pa ang mass gatherings, but is ASEA allowing mga small weddings, small parties, even small meetings? Yan ba ay ginagawa na ninyo?
Yes, we are actually offering na po events here at Asea. That's why I am here.
Okay.
We are actually kicked up na po our offering events here at Asea. So since we have the beach setting, we have the garden setting, and of course we have the ballroom. It's allowed naman po to have events. It's just that we have to follow certain protocols, like we have to divide the capacity of each area into 50%, no? And
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
of course, social distancing, hindi na mawawala yan.
Of course. Well, nakikita natin ng mga litrato po mga kapatid ng pagkain, of course the facilities, yung gym, they have a wonderful gym. There's the room, ang ganda po ng mga kwarto dito and of course it's very well laid out. You have a view of the beach and the bay in every room. At talaga namang ang ganda-ganda po ng mga magagawa dito at tanawin. So, Melissa, siguro just invite everyone. Where can they go and book? Ano bang website niyo so that people can check you out and come and visit Asea?
Yes, for all those guests who wanted to stay and visit Asea, you may secure your booking through our website. It's www.asea.ph. So it's an online booking. It's a hassle-free booking since you can book and buy your room using your own, using your card and debit card. And we are also offering other payments like GCash, like a gem, that can be booked by our email naman po. It's reservations@asea.ph.
Alam mo, ang hindi mo nabanggit, and I will mention it, ang
Sige,
Asea po,
yun.
napakababait ng staff. I can swear to that. From the front office to the people in the pool, all the attendants, everyone who they will take care of you. And it's really a
Thank you,
great
Sir
destination
Nolly.
place. Melissa, thank you so much. Babalik pa kami
Salamat
dito
po.
dahil tayo magkakasama sa Power and Play. Maraming salamat, Melissa. Have a good morning. We'll see you later.
You too, sir, and enjoy the rest of your stay. See you
Thank
later.
you. Thank you so much. Mga kaibigan, Melissa Correlia, ang Events and Banquet Manager ng Acea Beach Resort, Subic. Naku, puntahan niyo po itong lugar na to. Beautiful, beautiful place. Alright mga kaibigan, we'll take a quick break. Sa aming pagbabalik, hihimayin po natin ang NBA 75th season with your favorites, Boom Gonzalez and Charles Tiu. Ito po ang Power and Play, hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Loom at ng Cherry Tigo.
Alex, are you ready to have some fun on your first driving lesson?
Nagbabalik po ang Power and Play live from the Acea Subic Beach Resort in this beautiful Saturday morning. Oh, by the way, today, 10 games on tap sa NBA. Ang dami na namang aksyon and we've seen two great days so far. And talking about the NBA, syempre gusto nating himayin ang mga kaganapan ngayon sa Premier League ng basketball, ang NBA. And with us today, very, very special opportunity to have with me my partner sa Olympic coverage live from Singapore, a pambihira, Boom Gonzalez, and of course another very, very good friend of mine, one of the best minds in basketball today, Coach Charles Tiu. Magandang umaga, Boom and Charles.
Morning, Coach. Good morning, Com.
Okay, huwag kayong mainggit, Charles. Huwag kang mainggit. Next time, kasama ko na ikaw dito.
Ay, nakikita ko sa inyo, Kom and Boom. Ikaw, Kom, ang ganda ng resort mo dyan. Si Boom nasa Singapore.
Oo. Di bale, Charles, ano man munti ka na naman pumasok sa finals. Isa na lang, malapit ka na doon.
Sayang.
Ko-commercial lang ako, Com, ha?
Sure.
Pag kumatok at tumawag ang Singapore Immigration, baka mawala ako ng mga 30 seconds at 1 minute. Obligado ko sumagot because they check up on me every morning.
Sandali lang, bakit ka ba nandiyan? Naka-quarantine ka, Boom, right now?
Yes, Com, naka-quarantine. I'm back to visit my family. My wife and my family are here. So,
Right,
after everything, iwanan ko muna si Coach Charles sa NBA hype. Pasensya na, Coach.
Sad kami.
Let me begin with this. No, alam naman natin, it's a 75th year of the NBA. So much is going on, and it's a milestone for any organization to reach 75 years. And when you talk about 75 years, we're talking about the greatest players na nominate nila and pinangalanan na nila. No? And that's about 158 NBA titles combined, 730 NBA All-Star selections combined, and over 100 MVP awards. Let me ask you first, guys, what is your fondest memories of the NBA in its past 75 years? You're young, and obviously, hindi mo kayo sobrang but what is the most beautiful memory that you've had so far with the NBA? I'll begin with you, Boom. Bakit kumatok na yung Singapore quarantine officer?
usually di naman ganito kaaga, so okay lang, safe pa. You mean in terms of watching, Com?
Yes, and even your personal experience with the NBA. Boom.
Well, in terms of watching, obviously my bond with my late father was always watching, the early morning, when we had the telecast early morning and watching the 90s MJ days, the Detroit Pistons. And those are my fondest memories because it reminds me obviously of my father and our bond of basketball. I'm sure you have your own stories with your parents about that. Pagdating sa NBA, in terms of, the coverage, I've been lucky enough to have gone to the NBA, I think 12 times for All-Star and the finals, and the first time is always sweet because when I went to, I think, the City of Angels, LA, that was the first time, the first All-Star experience. That weekend was, with all of the Hollywood people and the media all over the world, and of course the players, and then the fan experience. You soak it in for the very first time. Walang tulugan for 3 days because it was my first time, and I never know whether I was going to go back or whatever. So you just enjoy it, and then eventually the dunk contest, the 3-point shootout, and then the All-Star game. I think the first time will always be sweet.
Alam mo, that's something that ingit na ingit ako. I'm really very envious of you people. I have never been on an NBA Finals coverage. I was supposed to go back in 1999 and 2000. I was scheduled to go. Something happened and it never did. Of course, I've been to the NBA because of an invitation ng when I was commissioner. I was invited by then Commissioner David Stern. But yung pag-cover, wow, that's something that that's missing in my career. Charles, your fondest memories of the NBA in the last 75 years?
Wow. Quite a bit. Like Boom, I enjoyed watching NBA games in the morning with my dad and my brother. Lalo na before, wala pang mga NBA League Pass, so we really have to time it, wait for it sa TV. In terms of personal experience, I've also been lucky enough to, I haven't really covered NBA games, but I've watched a few games live. One of which was a Christmas Day game between the Celtics and the Lakers during the Big Three era of Garnett, Allen, Paul Pierce, and against Kobe Bryant. And I watched it with Manny Pacquiao in a special.
Wow.
That was pretty cool. And then I got the chance to meet. I had a chance to meet and spend time with a few NBA players, Ray Allen, Bruce Bowen, a lot of different guys. So lots of fun stories. Getting a chance to watch them here in NBA preseason dati ng Houston and Indiana back in MOA. That was pretty cool too. And I guess in terms of watching, naman, my favorite games were probably that Ray Allen three-pointer that saved the Heat because I like LeBron James a lot. And LeBron James's crazy block, that game where his chase down block on Iggy. Parang those
Absolutely.
really
Oh.
stand out to me. So, those are fun memories, one of my favorites amongst the many memories that the NBA has brought us.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's my number one memory in terms of personal experience. Yung Ray Allen 3 at the corner.
wow.
I was there covering. That was it's crazy. That moment was crazy.
That's a thrill. That's a thrill. And just to react to Charles, alam mo, ako, when the NBA wasn't even on TV, natin, no? I would wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning using yung Far East Network na antenna. Diba? Remember those days? It reminds me because I'm in Subic and those were antennas that were channeled to Clark, diba? Para makuha mo yung
Right.
goodness, those were really the fun times.
Di pa yata pinapakanak nun ko.
Ay, wag mo na sabihin yan, Charles. Yun yung panahon nila, Moses Malone. All right. Well, now we have the 75 greatest players of the NBA, and of course there are 11 active players that were named there, including LeBron and Giannis and many others, Melo. There are of course yan ang mga pangalan na mga napinangalanan, but there are of course other active players na sinasabi ng iba should have been there. Your thoughts on that, Charles? Ikaw muna. Do you think that maybe there could have been other active players or other players? Do you think that this is a list that satisfies you?
I think generally it does. There's always going to be some notable omissions. You can't really please everybody. Obviously, the hot name that's being talked about right now would be Kyrie Irving. His peers, his former teammates, all coming to his defense. To me, I guess he would be borderline. I mean, I'm not sure. It's hard always for us to kind of discount the fact that it's our generation right now. We obviously we see them in a different light because we probably never really saw some of the older guys play, like sila Dave Bing, sila Greer. While the older generation would always tend to favor their generation more. But
right.
To me, one guy who's probably missing too would be Dwight Howard. I mean, I know he's kind of been a bit of a role player in his latter years or these recent years, but at his peak, he was a force and he was really dominant. So he's one guy I'm surprised not to see, to be honest. But of course, he's kind of focused more or known as a defensive player, which the list doesn't really tend to favor.
Mm-hmm. Well, you don't see a name like, for instance, Ben Wallace in that particular list. No, Boom, may mga active players dyan, and of course there are past players. In fact, may mga nagsasabi nga masyadong recency bias. No, there are some players that should have not been there yet because you're talking about 75 years, and there's so many players who passed through the NBA. You got T-Mac, you got Vince Carter, even a guy like Bernard King, for instance.
Right, he wasn't there. Yeah.
Any name
Alex
in particular?
English?
Do you think Alex English? Boom.
Adrian Dantley, yung mga ganun nga daw, di ba? Coach, Com, you said it perfectly, and Coach did also. Yung recency bias in the age of social media. We're all victims. Nobody's spared from recency bias. Coach made the point about generational favorites. That's why the GOAT conversation will never be settled, because that's always a generational thing. Recency bias naman, that's a big factor, in my opinion, why Dwight Howard isn't there. I'm 100% in agreement with Coach. Three-time Defensive Player of the Year. He led the league in rebounding 4 times, led the league in blocks 2 times, went to the finals. Yeah, recently won a championship as a role player, but his longevity also, and he was, battling with prime LeBron also back in the day with Orlando. But we are victims of recency bias, and recently he is a role player who has had a different kind of reputation, but during his peak, Dwight Howard was the man, and I'm saying that, and I'm not even a fan of Dwight Howard. I will, if I'm trying to be unbiased, I would take him for this list particularly over an Anthony Davis, and I think Anthony Davis is in the list, if not mistaken. But I'm a fan of Anthony Davis, but I think that would be my argument there. Vince Carter. Longevity also, I think yung sinasabi ni Coach na mga omissions, some people say Kyrie over Damian Lillard because of the championships. Yeah, so but I agree with the Vince and the Tracy McGrady point. But yeah, as always, ang hirap-hirap magtanggal ng mga player dahil ang daming magagaling din talaga.
And of course, alam naman natin na marami pang taon ang tatakbo ng NBA. And obviously, many more names will be added there. But even a guy like Klay Thompson just came out with a post and he was complaining about it. But ako in particular, there's one name that I thought also should be considered, Chris Bosh. I mean, Chris Bosh was a guy that revolutionized the game. He won a couple of championships with Miami. He was a guy that was the go-to guy in Toronto. I thought, that, again, his career was cut short, but I think Chris Bosh is another name that should be considered. Ang dami-dami pangalan dyan, but hindi natin masasatisfy, as you said. But, when you talk about this list, Boom, what's the significance of a list like this for you?
Well, first of all, the celebration of the premier basketball league in the world, that is universally loved. And the fact that we're arguing, debating, and I think that's a great sign for all of us because that means, I mean, hindi lang tayo nagtatalo dito, pati mga sa kapihan, sa kalye, pinag-uusapan nila yan. And that speaks to the popularity of the league. That speaks of popularity of the players and the globalization of the league. And it's also a great way to introduce, I guess, the younger generation, if they're curious enough, to find out who was, Bernard King and who was Bob Cousy, who's Bill Russell, sino ba yung sinasabi nilang, even maybe if hindi nila inabot sila Chris Bosh or sila Tracy McGrady or Vince Carter, and dig deeper into their careers and not just from what we see on social media, what we see on TV recently, but 75, years of the league and still getting better. I think, as Commissioner would always say, nobody does it better. And NBA is, diba, as a league, as a marketing tool, even in their social media and their charitable and social awareness programs, they're just getting better every year.
Well, it's always a standard. It is the benchmark of all leagues. And of course, Boom, you've covered the NBA very, very extensively here in the Philippines. And that's why, that's something coming from you is very, very significant. Let me go to some other thing now, Charles. Yung drama that's happening in the NBA before we start looking at the season itself. We know what's happening kay Ben Simmons.
Sixers. In the background.
May
You're
laban
keeping
ba?
in the background.
Kyrie
Nets ang
Irving.
kalaban.
Oh, yun nga, Kyrie Irving and the Nets, both teams are now wrapped in drama. So ang tanong ko muna, who will cave in first para sa'yo, Charles? Who gives in first? The players or the teams?
I think Ben Simmons will cave in first, although he did just say that he was mentally not ready to play. But it's very interesting, no? The Sixers are saying they're not going to budge. If it's going to be a trade, it's going to take a while. Simmons says he's not ready. I thought they were moving a step towards the right direction because he showed up, practiced, and then he was thrown out of practice. Now he says he's mentally not ready to play. I think Tobias Harris made a nice statement saying, everything else should be in-house, respect them, and they support Ben. So at least, I'm sure they had a nice meeting, and I think there was a lot of accountability between the players, the staff that they kind of owned up for. So I think that's one good thing. With Kyrie Irving, I really do think, and this is my honest opinion, he will play in the season, and that's because I do feel that the vaccine mandate will change, and the rules in the city of New York will just change, and he will be allowed to play eventually, whether it be late in the season or in the playoffs. And that's all the Nets need anyways. I mean, they don't need him right now. They're going to make the playoffs and be a top team. They are losing to the Sixers without Ben Simmons right now at the half. But I do think these two guys will end up playing this season, and I hope they do because it's better NBA, better basketball with all these stars.
Absolutely. Kailangan natin mapanood yung mga yan, and that's what the fans pay for. But Boom, this is not the first time. I'm a Sixer fan. I don't think Ben is being very professional with this. I think that it was his fault. He didn't play well. He didn't play to his abilities. But we've seen this in the past. Nangyari na to when he forced himself out of a team. Nangyari na to kay James Harden when he also wanted to get out of Houston. Where do you draw the line between players like this and your situation with a team?
Usually with stories like these, we kind of stand with the players. The players rights and the player's power. But in this Ben Simmons situation, I think he is just digging a deeper hole for himself by acting the way that he's acting. Not only for his future with the Sixers, but I think his future with the league. Because even if they're saying more is saying right that this might be a 4-year saga. Because they're holding out also. Parang everybody's trying to bluff their way and a game of chicken na between Simmons and the team. And usually players win out in this situation. But right now, even if I'm another franchise com, Ben Simmons is not looking very attractive. From a skill standpoint, from a player standpoint, of course, he's incredibly skilled, incredibly talented. But if this is the kind of attitude that you might deal with, which is actually the same story with Kyrie now, like, with all of his travels to Cleveland and Boston and now the Nets, there always seems to be something that will come up within the season. You're also lowering, I guess, your value to other teams and all that. But they're professionals. That's why they're called professionals. And I think what he's doing right now, talking about Ben, it's a little bratish. It's on the bratish side, right? And I think he's not doing himself any favors, even from a PR standpoint, and making himself attractive out there. Forget public perception, right? But even just from a basketball standpoint, being a brat in practice, having a cell phone in your sweats while you're in practice. I mean, this is incredibly unprofessional.
Yeah, well, and that saga, that drama will continue as the season comes along. I hope it's not
Wag
4
naman
years.
sana
though.
4 years.
Wag naman 4 years. Kawawa naman yung aking Sixers. Charles, let's go to the opening day of opening of the season. Obviously, so many great performances already. We saw a 45-point explosion from Curry. We saw a 34-point explosion for Giannis. Let's start with the Bucks. They're the defending champions. They blew out the Nets, but then all of a sudden, in their second game, they get blown out also by Miami. What do you think of the Bucks? And did they get better this year?
I think so, and for one reason, because I think Giannis, who is probably the best player in the NBA right now, got better too. It seems like his free throw shooting, that mental side has kind of been fixed somehow. I mean, there is some progress. Looks like, in the preseason, his jump shot was becoming smoother and smoother, which is a scary sight. And just watching Giannis, when you don't watch him, you're looking at the box, you're like, wow, his numbers are good. But when you watch him, man, he's really good. And let's face it, against the Heat, Holiday was hurt. They're still missing some key players too. Portis hasn't played. They looked really good against the Nets. Some of their role players like Grayson Allen, Mora, they all are helping out. So they're good. The thing is, I was surprised they lost by that big of a margin to the Heat, but the Heat are also looking like a real contender. So, they have they have vets, they can defend, they're tough, they have go-to guys. So that's a really good team that they lost to. So I'm not too worried about the Bucks right now. I think they'll be in the thick of things again, and obviously they are the defending champion. And with Steph, I saw that game. I watched the full game on League Pass in my office. I hope my dad's not watching this, but that was a crazy game, especially that first quarter. Man, Steph was mind blowing. And that made me miss basketball so much and just appreciate Steph, because I love the Warriors. I love Steph until KD came, and then the Warriors became too good for me. Now they're kind of like a immortal team, and hey, it's fun to watch them again.
Ang ganda. Really, very, very smooth. Beautiful play. Of course, they won again yesterday against the Clippers. Boom, most impressive opening day performances so far for you?
Well, I have to be impressed by with Miami also. They're retooled. Obviously, with the acquisitions come, when you think about it, champions yung mga nakuha nila eh.
Absolutely.
You got Kyle Lowry, PJ Tucker, who's not only a fresh champion, he's a motivated champion because he marked this game against Milwaukee because of them letting go of him, which, he was really shocked about. You got Morris there, and then the improvement of some of their other shock troopers like Max Strus, Dwayne Dedman, who looked also very spry. And then Tyler Hero, who's had a great preseason, then had a great opening day. Jimmy Butler looks like he's in great shape. I think Miami, there are a lot of people who are overlooking them. I think people are overlooking Philadelphia also because of this Ben Simmons thing. You may win against Miami, but it's going to be painful and it's going to be. And I think, but they're undervaluing Miami. And yes, I agree with Coach, and I tend to agree with Coach Charles because it's the smart thing to do about Milwaukee being, hurt yesterday, and I think they missed like 4 starters or 3 starters. But it's sign of things to come for Miami. They're going to be a team to be reckoned with. Golden State is exciting. The Bulls are exciting once again. They may not win as much, but at least the excitement level to see those uniforms win again is exciting. I personally also want to see the Hornets do well. They're playing today with LaMelo Ball scoring 31 on opening day. Kasi wala na yung Zion Williamson ko pero parang naka-parking So
I hope he comes back soon. By the way.
I hope so. I hope so.
Fantasy player ko yun
Now, let me ask you, gentlemen, kasi we've seen how the improvements, sabi nga ni Boom, Chicago has improved, Miami has improved. Obviously, the Warriors are fun to watch. But I cannot leave this topic without asking about the Lakers, Charles. Of course, the LA Lakers got, some of the veterans, good pieces in the offseason. But so far, they do not look as we had expected. Is there trouble already, or do you think this is just, a
Hollywood movie?
Baby steps going in for them?
I definitely think it's baby steps. Let's face it, they haven't played a lot with LeBron, especially in the preseason, because he sat out. All of them kind of sat out a lot of games, and it's hard because Westbrook isn't the easiest to kind of fit into LeBron and Anthony Davis. You're not talking about a guy who doesn't need the ball. Westbrook kind of needs it. I like that like Coach Vogel owned up to it. He said it's his fault. He didn't put Westbrook in a better position. The guys are all keeping him positive. They are missing some key guys in Horton Tucker. He's going to be valuable for them. Wayne Ellington, who can shoot. They have to figure out their lineup rotations, their chemistry, all of that. It may take a while. They'll be all right. I'm not too worried. But at the same time, I don't think this championship is a lock for them. Because obviously the Nets were the favorite. Irving's gone, so everybody's kind of like, okay, they may not be the favorites. And then the Lakers are the next team. I'm not sold on that just yet. I think it will take some time. They'll be there in the playoffs, maybe at least in the conference finals. But to win the championship, I have to see a bit more from them.
All right.
May I add quickly on the Lakers' point? I think also health is going to be the important thing because of the age. When you look at them, I feel like, in the playoffs, they know what to do. When they get to the playoffs, it's getting to the playoffs, I think, that's going to be a challenge. They will be in the playoffs. What I mean is the positioning. Because right now, in the West, I think that's the crucial thing. Positioning will be crucial. If you're medyo 6, 7, 5, and you have to beat the top 4 teams 3-4 times, you just think about, So I think the health of the older guys in LA is going to be, I think, part of the saga, part of the drama of watching this Hollywood film unfold.
Ako, basically, sa Lakers, my biggest concern is defense. I think that they've got really, really good offensive players. Melo, Russell, Monk, Wayne Ellington. But, the question mark is, can they play defense? LeBron can play, but he's 37 years old. And the guy cannot play defense for 36 minutes in a game. So it's going to be a big question mark. But again, obviously, where there's LeBron, where there's AD, when a team comes
always
together, always a chance. Let me ask you, before I let you go, I'm not going to ask you for a forecast, but ang tatanungin ko sa inyo is, what do you want to see in this NBA season? Boom. What do you want to see in terms of maybe, it's not a forecast, but like in the finals, among individuals, what is that you want to see in this 75th season?
First of all, I want to see, and this is impossible, but as close to an injury-free, season in terms of like the key players. Health was I only say that comment, Coach, because Coach, we talked about this on our show many times. The last couple of seasons, if we can call it, the campaigns, health was an issue because of the compacted schedule, right? Nagkaroon ng problema with all of these, scheduling problems. Everything has to be compacted, 4 games and 5 nights it's kind of thing. Now that the NBA is back to its kind of normal run in terms of the schedules, in terms of there was an off season, a proper training camp, I would hope that the stars remain healthy because right now the East is looking good, better than in previous years in terms of parity. The West is the West. It's always going to be super competitive. So gusto natin mga Pinoy magkasubukan talaga with all the stars, di ba? LeBron healthy, AD healthy, Kyrie and James Harden healthy, and the same for all the other teams. So first and foremost, that's what I wish for because you can make any forecast right now, but down the road, one injury will kill that forecast as well as your fantasy teams, right? So I think, and it's not trying to be a safe answer. I think health is at a premium right now because of the difference of how the schedule is.
I cannot agree more. Obviously, that has been a factor. Hindi lang sa NBA, pati sa PBA. And Charles knows that very, very well. Yung
Exactly.
safety protocols. Charles, what do you want to see? It's not a forecast, but what do you want to see as we continue with the 75th season ng NBA?
Well, I really wanted to see a Lakers-Nets finals with the Lakers winning it all. I don't really like the Nets, but and they may beat the Lakers, but it is great entertainment for us. I'd like to see them go up against the Sixers, the Bucks, go through all the good teams, as Boom said. But to me, in the regular season, I'd like to see it. I'd like to see those playoff races. I don't like teams being out and just throwing games, kind of tanking. I like everybody. I like a competitive playoffs where every team's fighting tooth and nail to get it in. That's really what excites me. I want to see some good basketball being played, and because they are the greatest players in the world, they are so fun to watch. I want to see the rookies play well, Jalen Green, all these guys. So, I'm excited for that. But I just want a competitive season. That's all.
Yeah, well, and that's what it's going to be. Ako, all I want to see is my Sixers in the finals.
Lamang kayo ng anim, coach. Lamang kayo, 66-60. Right now, against the Nets.
Dagdagan mo pa, Boom, at baka delikado yung 6 points. Alam mo naman yung mga player ko. Guys, it's been a great morning. Thank you. Marami pa tayong pag-usapan, but hopefully we'll do this again. Boom,
Salamat,
stay safe in quarantine.
I will. You too.
Good luck with Meralco, and we certainly hope you wish you the best second conference. Next month, nandito ka. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, mga kaibigan. Kasama natin si Boom Gonzalez and si Coach Charles Tiu sa ating NBA moments. Ang daming pinag-usapan and of course, a lot of things going on in the NBA. All right, before we take a break, syempre, let's take a quick look at some of the viral moments in sports and of course, yung mga trending videos dito po sa ating Stop and Pop. Well, sinasabi nga nila, hindi lamang kampyon sa laro, kampyon din sa pag-ibig. Yan po si Heidelin Diaz. Pagkatapos na nagkaroon ng, engagement, yung bigayan ng singsing. Yan po, kasama na dyan si Heidelin Diaz na pagkatapos niyang buhati ng Pilipinas sa Olympics, sinagot naman niya ang kanyang pinaka-importanting tanong sa buhay. Yung pong binigay niya yung kanyang matamis na oo. Ang sagot ng Golden Girl sa nobya niyang si Coach Julius Naranjo nang sa wakas ay ayain siyang magpakasal. Siyempre, hindi rin basta-basta ang engagement ring ni Heidelin Diaz. Hugis barbell, mga kapatid, hugis barbell ang pinagpatungan ng diamond ring na may naka-engrave pa na Tokyo 2020 sa sinsing ni Heidelin. Congratulations sa inyo, Heidelin at Julius. Mabuhay kayo. At yan po ang ating Stop and Pop moment sa Power and Play. We'll be back with more sa amin pong pagbabalik. Makakasama natin Coach Ariel Vanguardia ng Blackwater Bossing. Ito po ang Power and Play live from Asea. Hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Loom at ng Cherry Tigo.
Alex, Alex, are you ready to have some fun on your first driving lesson?
Ang Power and Play ay hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum. Sa ganitong pabago-bago ang panahon mga kapatid, sobrang init tapos biglang uulan. Kailangan natin ng matibay at protektadong bubong. Dapat ang bubong ay yerong may aluminum. Kapag may aluminum, tsak na pangmatagalan. At isa lang ang alam kong dekalidad na yerong may aluminum. Yan ang Cherry Loom. Tibay protektado sa pangmatagalang yero. Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum. Cherry Tigo, paano mo masasabing nakaka-enjoy i-drive ang sasakyan mo? Isa lang ang sagot ko dyan. Siyempre kapag ang minamaneho mo ay Cherry Tigo 7 Pro. Luxurious ang exteriors at comfort-filled naman ang interiors. Intelligent dahil meron itong automatic tailgate opening, engine start, at climate control na pwede mong makontrol using its smart key. Perfect pa pang long drive dahil meron itong large sunroof, HD touchscreen, wireless mobile charging, at 360 around view monitoring. Pro na pro ka with the Tigo 7 Pro dahil available na rin ito for as low as 88,000 pesos all in. Hanggang 120,000 din ang cash discounts exclusive ngayong September. Open pa for free test drives kaya i-schedule mo na ang appointment sa Cherry Dealer today. Cherry Tigo 7 Pro, fun to drive. Joyride, ang bago ninyong kasundo. Dahil ayaw naming nahihirapan ka, book Joyride Motorcycle Taxi now and experience hassle-free commute. And it's never too early to start getting ready for the holidays. Now's the right time to plan the perfect gifts for your loved ones to avoid the holiday rush. For all your delivery needs this coming holiday season, Joyride Super App is here. Now available in Metro Manila, Metro Cebu, Laguna, Baguio, and soon in Bulacan. So download the latest Joyride Super App now. Elms Resto Bar Group, home of fried eating, with branches at Elms Tapas and Winery, located in Calia Bistro, Commonwealth, Quezon City, and Elms Grill and Bar in Poblacion, Makati. You may call 0977-157-0499 or 0966-854-4048 or visit their FB and IG pages at Elms Resto Bar Group for reservations and inquiries. Skin, your face and body anti-aging center. with branches at Wilson Street, San Juan City, and Alabang Town Center, Muntinlupa City. For inquiries, please call 0917-890-1640 or 0977-809-8886. Acea Subic Beach Resort. Experience the getaway that you deserve and dive into limitless happenings, rejuvenating experiences, and gastronomic adventures. Acea Subic Beach Resort. Power and Play would also like to thank the Umami Bowl, your go-to for Japanese rice bowls, and Lick Hobby, weave by weave, hand in hand. Check out their IG pages. Muli po, nagbabalik tayo dito sa Acea Beach Resort in Subic Bay. By the way, mamaya po ang laban ng mga Pilipino nating ballers sa B-League. Maglalaban po si Kiefer Ravena at si Bobby Ray Park sa alas 2 po ng hapon yan. Yung Shiga versus Nagoya. Naku, kung mapapanood nyo, napakagandang laban yan. Talking about basketball, of course, and playing abroad. Well, our next guest is a guy that is familiar with the scene. Lalong-lalo na't nagkampiyon siya dati sa ASEAN Basketball League at ngayon siya po ay hinirang bilang bagong head coach ng Blackwater Bossing. Walang iba kundi ang aking kaibigan, si Coach Ariel Vanguardia. Coach Ariel, magandang umaga.
Hi, Ko. Magandang umaga sa inyo at magandang umaga sa lahat ng nanonood dito sa ating Power and Play. It's an honor to be here po.
Naku, first time mo dito. Naku, natutuwang makasama ka. At ngayon kita makikitang hindi ka naglalaro ng golf dahil masyado ka ng busy. I will take advantage.
Wala na.
Coach.
Tataas na handicap. Pero napakataas na nga ngayon eh.
Dapat pa naman maglalaro kami ni Coach Ariel, mga kapatid. Pero pagkatapos niyang matapos ang off-season. Coach, ito, diretso na tayo kagad sa punto. Because, you know, obviously, ang announcement, the big news about a month ago was that ikaw ang hinirang na bagong Blackwater coach after a record of futility ng Blackwater. So marami pa rin nagtatanong, bakit mo tinanggap itong assignment na to na alam naman natin parang ang hirap na trabaho lalong-lalo na sa isang coach?
Well, siyempre yung challenge at siyempre galing na rin tayong PBA and gusto mo rin makabawi kumbaga. And yung mga teams nga na na-handle ko, ewan ko ba kung swerte ko yun or opportunity ko yun na yung mga teams, like my first head coaching job was with JRU, talagang rebuilding din. And then when I took the job in Malaysia, ganun din. And even the Phoenix, when I entered the Phoenix job yung sa PBA, rebuilding din. So I'm used to the challenge kumbaga. And ito nga, pinoform na namin yung team and so far, nakukuha ko naman yung balanse na gusto ko mangyari.
And when you were offered this job, Coach Ariel, anong nakita mo na mali o dapat mong pagkukulang o dapat mong baguhin dyan sa Blackwater?
Well, number one kasi, kahit naman na nasa ABL ako, welcome naman ako ni Boss Giseldo pagka off-season ng ABL. I'm part of the coaching staff of Blackwater. So over the years, alam ko naman na kung ano yung takbo ng team. Yun lang, gusto ko kasing, parang ibalik yung collegiate spirit ng team na medyo nawawala na. Dahil Blackwater ka, kumbaga, you're a expansion team. So hindi ka parang, pag minsan, tatanungin yung ano bang team ka? Kahit nung mga exit interview ko sa mga players ko, parang minsan naiiya sila sabihin Blackwater or hindi kilala. So kailangan mag-umpisa sa amin yun na talagang maging proud at magkaroon kami ng malasakit sa team na ito yung team natin. Bago pa namin isipin na manalo, kailangan talagang kumbaga balik mo yung collegiate pride na pag naglalaro ka sa Ateneo or sa Lasal or sa FEU, siyempre pagsuot mo yung uniform, proud na proud ka. Pag lumalabas ka, nakalasal kang t-shirt. Ganun dapat.
Yung ba yung tinatawag mong bossing pride na sa isang interview?
Oo.
Mo?
Yun. Yung bossing pride. Kailangan proud ka na ito yung team mo. Nasa PBA ka. And, maganda naman yung naging usapan ko sa mga players and yung mga pumapasok nga ng mga bagong players na kinuha ko. So, yun ang ginawa ko dito kasi hindi pa nga pwede mag-practice. So, yun ang ginawa ko and then binigyan ko sila ng mga assignments on their own sa mga gym or sa mga shooting drills na gagawin nila. And ngayon na, itong mga coaching staff ko naman, dahil we're preparing to practice in Batangas starting Monday, so inintay na lang namin yung approval, pero na-approve na yung ibang yung na lang, meron na lang isang kumbaga signature na iniintay namin.
Alright.
So pina-practice na namin ng mga coaching staff yung gagawin namin for Monday.
I have to ask you this, Coach Ariel. No? Alam natin na ang Blackwater in the past, nakilala sila for trading their picks, in even trading their top players. No? And yan ang isa sa mga pula, sabihin na natin. And of course,
Yes.
isa sa mga naging rason kung bakit medyo hindi maganda ang record. They have a 0-19 losing streak na naging rason din sa pagkaalis ni Coach Nasracelo. So ang tanong ko, are you concerned about yung dating ginagawa ng Blackwater na tinitrade ang picks? And of course, do you have a say? Meron ka na ba dito sa inyong agreement? Do you have a say on how to go about yung pag-rebuild ng iyong koponan?
Yes, napag-usapan na namin yan before I even assume assume this position. Kung ba napag-usapan na namin yung mga trades, yung mga picks. And luckily naman, they agreed naman that we're gonna be keeping our picks. Maganda nga yung kumbaga future ng team kasi on the coming draft, we have 3 first-round picks. So, and probably the number 1 since we're the last place team. So, and then we have 2 second-round picks, which is parang first round na rin yung second round namin kasi nasa upper first round yun, upper second round yun.
Ganda.
So, basically, parang, kumbaga, sabi ko nga, pwede tayo magtayo ng Fab 5 Philippines eh. Kumbaga, parang, baka sakaling kumbaga, marami kasing mga magpapadraft na kinakausap ko na rin. Kumbaga, right now, kinakausap ko na yung mga potentially magpapadraft and maganda yung horizon naman. So, yung mga trades as it may seem na kumbaga imbalance or hindi maganda, pero luckily natapat ako na yung kumbaga yung tinanim ng team natapat sa akin na nandito yung mga first round picks na tinrade namin na nakuha namin sa previous trade. So
and of course, sana magamit mo ngayon either as an actual pick or makakuha ka ng magaling na player para dun sa mga assets ninyo. And when you talk about trading ngayon, you're very busy dito sa off-season, Coach Ariel, no? Nakuha mo na si Roshan McCarthy, pumasok na si JB Casio at saka si Barclay Ibonia. Why did you make these trades, Coach Ariel?
Well, siyempre, medyo hindi maganda yung chemistry na nakita ko ng team na dati. So, we have to make changes. Unfortunately, siyempre, yung mga, kumbaga, assets namin na nabanggit mo siyempre, yung gusto nila, yung mga gumagawa sa amin, yung to perform in the bubble, last bubble. So, although nakasama ko na si Simon and si Mike Tolomia, maganda yung pinperform, sila yung gusto ng ibang team sila yung marketable so nagkataon ganun, but nakakuha naman tayo ng mga kapalit na I think magfi-fit naman sa sistema at nakasama ko rin si JB sa PBL and nakasama ko si Roshan sa ABL and then si Barkley, nakikita ko naman na we really need the big man, so talagang we had to pull the trigger.
You have a couple of veterans there na isa si Kelly Nabong na in-extend ninyo, and the other one na very, very key na naging trade for Mac Bello, si Baser Amerna. Tila parang bumaba ang kumpiyansa when he came over to the Blackwater bossing. And alam naman natin kung gaano kagaling na player si Baser. Ano ang plano mo with Baser, and have you talked to him, and how much of responsibility are you giving now kay Baser at maybe to Kelly?
Well, si Kelly will be out for at least siguro mga few games to start the conference, depending kasi nagpalinis siya ng bone spurs on his left foot. And then, so nakausap na rin kami and with regards to what happened in the last bubble, and maganda naman yung usapan namin. Pero yun nga, ang inunang-una kong kinausap talaga si Baser kasi yun nga, ang tingin ko sa kanya is keeper Ravenna of the NCAA. So kung ano yung na-achieve ni keeper, na-achieve din ni Baser sa NCAA. So I followed his career and tingin ko mababa nga yung nilaro niya for Blackwater. Hindi pang sinabi naman niya, I have to credit the guy for being honest. Hindi daw naging madali yung transition niya. kumbaga from Meralco to Blackwater. Pero may konting sama pa ng loob, and then merong yung sistema na nakasanayan niya na parati na sa kanya yung bola, yung mga ganon, yung siya yung magtitimon. And sometimes meron ding mga pagkakataon na pinalalaro siya ng ibang posisyon. So yung mga ganong aspect, at least nalaman ko na agad kung saan siya komportable and how we can work, work with him, kumbaga, para mag-fit dun sa sistema namin and mag-fit din, kumbaga, may adjust namin yung iba para, magkasundo kami ng maayos. So, okay naman.
Well, malaking bagay si Baser. He's a leader and malaking bagay yan sa inyong kampanya going to the second conference. And talking about that, no, alam mo, marami nagsasabi yung 0-19 nakakahiya. But one thing na hindi na pag-uusapan dyan, nataon nyo na dalawang Philippine Cup na mag-back-to-back ang nailarunin natin. No? Wala tayong mga imports. Kaya naman talaga, alam naman natin kung gaano kahirap ang Philippine Cup. Masyadong malalakas ang mga koponan. So, it also contributed, I guess, to the record. But talking about the second conference, Coach Ariel, ngayon pwede kang bumawi, kumuha ng isang magandang import para medyo maibalanse ang lineup mo. Anong iniisip mo na klase ng import na ipapasok mo? Plus, do you have already a name for your second conference import?
Meron na kaming napili, pero kasi yung first choice nga namin, unfortunately, hindi na maintay na kumbaga na kung talagang may import ba or it will be allowed. So yung nasa second choice kami, nag-negotiate na kami with our second choice, and na-submit naman namin yung mga requirements sa PBA. We're just waiting for the PBA to give us the go signals. But definitely, he's a big man that can help us outside, and meron din siyang touch from the perimeter for mid-range. So, alam ko yun ang kailangan namin kasi talagang he's a rebounder, shot blocker, someone that can run the floor with us. And maganda yun, welcome addition yun sa amin kasi nga nabanggit mo, siyempre that's one guy that for sure can match up with the best player of the other team. Kumbaga, meron ganun.
Now that you're in the Blackwater coaching job, Coach Ariel, ano ang period, gaano mo katagal binibigyan ng sarili mo for the rebuild at ano ang personal goals mo for this team? Alam naman natin na 0-19 na dapat basagin ng Blackwater. So,
Siyempre.
What is the goals ng team come the second conference and how long is the rebuild for you?
Well, I've talked about it with management. Siyempre, it's not, it wouldn't be easy. Wala, hindi naman talaga, we have a tough
hindi biglaan yan,
task ahead. Hindi biglaan. It's a process. We have to go through a process. But I can see that, at siguro modest targets to enter the playoffs muna in this conference. And then, yun nga, I mentioned that I have we have 12 expiring players ng December. So talaga, marami talaga, 12 expiring. So mga 4 lang yata yung may live contract. So that's and then yun nga, the draft is coming up, and a lot of Filipino Americans are entering the draft as I heard. So, and I've spoken to a couple na rin that will enter the draft. So yun, siguro yung kumbaga mapapabilis yung proseso, and by by the first conference next year, and will be more competitive, and by the next with another import, or hopefully we can keep this import para may chemistry na kami. I think we'll be a contender. Kumbaga, I'm giving myself 3 to 4 conferences to be consistently in the playoffs. Baka makatisod ng first semifinal appearance.
Very good. Alam mo, yan ang mga iniintay ng napakaraming Blackwater fans, Coach Ariel. And we know your capability. Ikaw naman may karanasan sa PBA. You've been in basketball. You were an assistant ng Talk and Text. Napunta ka as head coach ng Phoenix. And I guess that's a question I want to ask you. Ano sa tingin mo makes you better prepared this time around? Ngayon na second head coaching position mo sa PBA, what gives you the confidence na you are better prepared to handle the job?
I think I've mellowed down a bit. I was medyo medyo syempre as you grow older, kumbaga mellow down ka ng konti. And siyempre, nag-aaral din naman tayo sa pagko-coach. So, mas extensive na yung knowledge natin ngayon kaysa nung mga talk and text days, siyempre. Phoenix, siyempre natuto rin tayo. Although, siyempre, unfortunately, hindi tayo nagtagal doon or we just had 2 years there. So, okay naman na napasok naman natin sa playoffs yun 4 straight times and 1 time lang tayo na out sa quarterfinal. So sanay din naman tayo na kumbaga na mag-build na dapat na nanalo kasi syempre ayaw naman natin matalo kumbaga. So parang golf lang yan, Kom. Dapat nag-i-improve yung handicap.
Yun. hindi naman pwede lagi maganda ang palo, pero ang importante consistent at nag-enjoy. Coach, before I let you go, a couple of questions. Unang-una, let me get your assessment ng PBA Philippine Cup Finals. 2-0 ang lamang sa kasalukuyan ng talk and text laban sa Magnolia. Ano sa tingin mo so far ang nagiging susi dito sa seryeng ito?
Well, yung nagkamali yata ako na dahil sinabi ko sa isang interview na they have Magnolia has plenty of guards to guard Mikey Williams. Mali yata, wala yata makapigil kay Mikey so far. So yung adjustment kailangan. Pero ang nakikita kong problema dapat i-improve yung output kumbaga ng Magnolia. Hindi rin sila makashoot. Nakakadepensa pero hindi makashoot. So, pero tingin ko next game makaka-adjust na talaga yan. So we expect a closer game sa Sunday. So
in other words, sa tingin mo hindi pa tapos to malayo pa ang tatakbuhin nitong seryeng ito?
Oo, malayo pa. Pero siyempre, pagka nakuha na talk and text sa Sunday, tapos na yan. Pero I expect na mababawi pa come Sunday.
Alright. Well, as a parting shot dito, Coach Ariel, sabi mo nga kanina, you have done so many good things sa iyong mga kupunan, lalong-lalo na yung mga pinapasukan mo. You've turned things around para sa kanila. Banggitin ko lang po mga kapatid, si Coach Ariel, nag-coach yan sa JRU. When he entered 8th place ang JRU, natapos siya, nasa 2nd place na po ang JRU. Pumunta siya sa Malaysia, yung Westport Malaysian Dragons. Nasa kulelat po yung Dragons. Nung siya po umalis ng ABL, champion na ang Malaysia. And of course, the Phoenix, they were 11th when you entered. Then you brought them to the playoffs. You went as high as 6th place. This is your second tour of duty sa PBA. Coach Ariel, ano ang significance nitong pagbabalik mo muli sa head coaching position sa iyo personally at sa iyong career?
Well, yung yung pagbabasketball ko talaga it's a passion Kumbaga talagang nasa blood namin talaga kumbaga talagang love namin yung basketball and my late mother nga talagang pagka may game ako nasa simbahan nagdadasal gano'n hindi makapanood. Hindi makapanood and natatandaan ko nung bata ako, I'm a Toyota fan. Nilalagdat ako pag natatalo yung Toyota. So talagang gano'n yung passion ko sa basketball talagang. And I'm just so happy na, to be given a chance again. Na, may opportunity nga ako to coach abroad again and to, kumbaga, explore other options. Muntik na akong mag-assistant coach sa Denmark. Kaya lang, July, medyo nagka-COVID ako. Hindi ako nakapunta ng August sa Vegas para i-join yung coaching staff para mag-scout ng imports. Pero ito yung kapalit So I feel so blessed kumbaga na to be given this opportunity. The C family, Bosh Boss Liman has been very good to me. Kumbaga even yung nagka-COVID ako, just one phone call away, ready silang tumulong and they're like a family talaga na ang difference din kasi ng ibang team from our team being an independent team siyempre mga big corporations yung kalaban namin ito it's a family owned corporation, hindi naman pera ng mga stockholders yung ginagastos, kumbaga pera talaga din nila so hard earned money kailangan malasakitan din namin ng hard work and dedication. Yun muna. And nakikita ko naman, maganda naman yung usapan namin ng mga players. So, excited na ako na makita sa Monday how we will work hard We will dive for every loose ball. We will play exciting para masuklian naman namin yung ito nga, yung kabaitan ng team owner.
Well, si Josie is really, si Joseldo C is one of the best team owners, of course, one of the best people in basketball. At you're in a great organization. Sana nga ay gumanda ang kapalaran ng Blackwater bossing. Yung tinatawag nating loss of Denmark is the gain of the PBA. Coach Ariel, salamat for joining us. Power and Play, good luck. And hopefully, makapaglaro pa rin tayo pag ikaw ay medyo settled down na.
Pwede kasi sasabit kami magpa-practice, so sabihin mo lang kung pwede, kung may time ka.
Ayos. Maraming salamat, Coach Ariel. Mga kaibigan, si Coach Ariel Vanguardia ng Blackwater bossing. Naku, ang laki ng trabaho na hinaharap niya, but kilala natin si Coach Ariel at yan ay napakasipag na coach, and I'm sure he will do his best to get Blackwater back in the winning track. Alright mga kaibigan, we'll take a quick break sa ating pong pagbabalik. More of Power and Play hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Loom at ng Cherry Tigo. Nagbabalik po tayo sa Power and Play dito po sa Acea Beach Resort sa Subic Bay. Siya nga pala, yung mga nag-aabang po kay Kaloy Yulo, pagdasal natin yung ating kababayan. Again, he is in the finals ng World Artistic Gymnastics dyan po sa Japan. And of course, he's leading in 2 of the 3 events na kasali po si Kaloy Yulo. Pagdasal po natin ang ating kababayan. Alright. Bago po tayo magpatuloy sa ating susunod na interview, balikan muna natin ang ating best moments sa ating This Week in Sports History. October 18, 1974, o 47 years ago, naitala ni Nate Thurmond ang kauna-unahang quadruple-double record sa NBA. Ang quadruple-double po ay nangyari kapag may 10 o higit na tali ang isang manlalaro sa 4 na major statistical categories. Nagtala si Thurmond ng 22 points, 14 rebounds, 13 assists at 12 blocks sa overtime win ng Chicago Bulls sa Atlanta Hawks 120-115. 4 na manlalaro lang sa kasaysayan ng liga ang nakagawa ng quadruple-double at wala pang nakakagawa ulit niyan mula 1994. Nate Thurmond makes NBA history as the first player to record a quadruple-double this week in sports history. Grabe yan. Grabe mga kaibigan yung mga ganun. Ang hirap pong gawin yan. And of course, marami tayong mga PBA players na kayang gumawa yan pero mahirap talaga. Maybe sooner than later. But talking about basketball and talking about sooner, ang ating po susunod na makakapanayam ay isang manlalaro na talaga namang maganda ang hinaharap in the very, very near future. He is now the 9th player that will be playing in the Japan B-League. Kasama po ng Shinshu Warriors dyan po sa Division 2 ng Japan B-League. Ito po ang ating interview with the son of the legendary PBA great Marlo Aquino. Ito po ang ating interview with Matthew Aquino. In the spotlight today, Matthew Aquino. Kasama po natin ngayon si Matthew Aquino. Matt, maraming salamat for joining us ngayong araw na to sa Power and Play.
Thank you din po. Thank you so much for having me ba. Thank you po.
Alam mo, kakaiba yung storya sa iyo, no? And of course, you are the 9th player na papasok sa Japan B-League at sasamahan mo yung Shinshu Warriors. At of course, ang kaiba dito is that you are playing as a local player, no? Dahil nga meron kang dugong Hapon. Now, before we go to the basketball side, interesado ako doon sa family side mo. Alam ng tao na ikaw ay anak ng isang PBA legend na si Marlo Aquino. Pero yung kabilang side ngayon na ungkat no? Your mother is, you are a local dahil sa maternal side mo. Kwento mo nga yung roots mo, Matt, at saan ba kayo based dyan sa Japan?
Okay, so basically po kasi yung lola ko sa mother side is full Japanese po talaga. As in full. Pero tumanda na po siya sa Pilipinas. So, na-pass down po sa mother ko. So, bale, half Japanese yung mother ko. Then, na-pass po sa amin magkakapatid. So, basically, kami po magkakapatid is Japanese citizen po. Kaya ako nakakuha ng Japanese heritage. Kaya may passport po ako.
And yung pamilya, yung mother mo, yung grandmother mo, anong apelyido, Matt?
Toma po. Toma.
Toma. All right. And saan naka-base yung mga Toma sa Japan?
Sa Kanagawa.
Kanagawa. So may mga kamag-anak ka dyan?
Opo, meron po. May mga tito po ako dito, may pinsan.
Oo, wow. So it's ano na rin, no? Parang kumbaga magandang pagkakataon na magkakaroon ng konting family were you
umuwi po sila sa Pilipinas. Umuwi po sila.
Alright.
Pag tuwing Pasko, nagkikita-kita po kami. Gano'n. Tsaka yung lola ko po, andun na po siya sa Pilipinas.
Okay. So ang lola mo napunta sa Pilipinas. If you don't mind, ano yan? Nag-migrate siya sa Pilipinas? Pinili niya ang Pilipinas para mag-aral, magtrabaho? Paano siya napunta sa Pilipinas, Matt?
Hindi ko po alam yung full story, pero nag-asawa po siya ng Pinoy. Yun lang po yung alam ko talaga. Kaya doon na po siya sa Pilipinas na po nag-settle down. Yeah. Yun lang po yung alam ko.
Yung ba mga kamag-anak mong Japanese ay matatangkad? Kagaya ng kagaya mo? O nakuha mo yung tangkad sa ama mo, kay Marlo of course, o pati ba both sides ba parehong matangkad?
Hindi, ako na yung pinakamalaki talaga eh. Like mga pinsan.
But I'm also interested, Matt, no? Meron ka ba mga Japanese traits? Meron ka bang natutunan from your maternal side in terms of yung lingwahe, yung kultura, yung tradisyon? Meron ka bang ginagawang mga ganun?
Wala, pero tuwing nag-visit kami dun sa bahay ng lola ko, syempre, hindi maiwasan. Minsan yung mga setup, yung mga platito, parang medyo Japanese, tsaka may mga chopsticks din doon. Tapos yung ulam, syempre yung pagkain, minsan panghapon din, gano'n. Yun lang. Pero talaga, tatagalog nga yung lola ko eh. Saka masarap. Tatagalog yun. Fluent siya sa Tagalog tsaka sa Japanese.
Wow. Pero ikaw, marunong ka na ba maghapon?
Ako, hindi.
Magnipongo?
Hindi po.
Alright. Right now, you are in Japan already at matagal ka na dyan at naghahanda ka na sa iyong paglalaro kasama ng Shinshu Warriors.
Actually,
ikaw
noong
ba?
September 24 po.
September 24. So medyo magdadalawang buwan ka na dyan mag-iisang buwan ka na pala sa Japan. Alright. Pero is this the longest time na nag-stay ka dyan sa Japan?
Yes.
Is this
First time ko po sa Japan.
First time mo sa Japan?
Yes.
Wow! Despite the fact na may mga kamag-anak ka dyan, first time mo sa Japan. Alright. Ano ang first impressions mo dyan sa Japan?
Siyempre maganda. Yung pagkain agad unang napansin ko eh. Nadali ako sa pagkain. Siyempre 14 days quarantine. Wala po akong ginawa kung hindi kumain. Saka pagkain talaga. Tsaka yung iba yung kultura din. Talagang unang napansin ko sobrang disciplined na mga tao.
Oo.
Like, grabe. Super.
Kamusta ang welcome ng team mo sa'yo?
Ayun yung super ganda. Like, unang meet pa lang, like, first practice ko sa kanila, parang na-feel ko agad na at home na ako. Like, sobrang welcoming, napakabait, sobrang approachable nila. Lalo na yung head coach.
Oo.
Maganda pa kasi nag-i-English at saka Japanese. Ano siya, marunong. Sa Nagano po, sa Nagano City.
Nagano mismo. And meron ba mga Pinoy dyan? Ikaw ba nakakita ka na ng mga kababayan natin dyan?
Wala, naghahanap nga ako eh. Wala eh. Wala eh. Pero nung nagpunta kasi kami sa Tokyo, nag-away game. Di pa naglalaro, nanonood pala ako. Nag-away game, so nanonood ako. Habang nanonood, may mga Pilipino, nagulat ako. Nanonood. Tapos habang nasa may bench ako sa likod, tinatawag ako, kaya nagulat ako. Mga Pinoy pala, kaya nakatuwa lang. First time ko makakita ng Pinoy sa Japan.
Well, I'm sure the welcome has been very warm, lalong-lalo ng ating mga kababayan. Nakita naman natin ang paglalaro nila ng iba pang mga Pilipinong naririyan na, si Kobe, of course yung Ravena brothers, yung De Leon brothers, si Dwight Ramos, and si Ray Parks, and of course Ken Mark Carino. So napakainit and maraming, kumbaga na iintriga din, interested na makita kung paano ang ating mga kababayan, mga basketball players na ika nga magpe-perform diyan sa Japan. Now, alam mo ikaw, Matt, among yung mga pangalang binanggit ko, siguro ikaw yung medyo limited ang exposure mo, no? Yes. I wouldn't say na limited lang ang exposure mo because nagkaroon ka ng problema sa eligibility mo nung nasa college ka sa UAP. Ano ba nangyari doon? Very briefly, Matt. Ilang taong ka bang nakapaglaro sa Adamson? Ilang taong ka nakapaglaro sa NU?
Sa Adamson po, 1 year lang, freshman year ko. Isang UAP din, isang Pinoy. Tapos sa NU, 2 years. 2 UAP lang po sa NU.
Alright. So, very clearly, very few games ang nailaro mo. And then after that, nagkaroon ka ng exposure sa MPBL with the Bacoor team, no?
Tsaka sa D-League.
At saka sa D-League. Do you think itong limited exposure mo, even experience, may disadvantage sa'yo as you now go into a very, very tough league, kagaya ng B-League?
Para sa akin, hindi ko na talaga inaano na disadvantage kasi ginagawa ko naman yung trabaho. Nag-training ako everyday. Siguro nintay ko lang yung siguro yung tamang time or yung exposure na magawa ko yung ano yung tatrabahuan ko talaga.
Paano ka naghanda para dito sa pagpasok mo sa Japan B-League, Matt?
Actually, biglaan lang talaga to yung Japan B-League. So, hindi ko naman talaga pinagandaan to. Talagang, ang pinagandaan ko is field basket. Doon ako, like, during COVID season, diba, pa-practice, syempre, diba? Practice kami, papa-condition. Yun talaga yung pinagandaan ko. Itong B-League, biglaan lang talaga to. Like, hindi ko na-expect, like, hindi ko plano to. Like, ang plano ko is, dalawa ko field basket, after field basket, pa-draft na sa PBA. Yun yung original plan talaga. Yun yung original.
So paano napunta ka sa B-League? Ano ang nangyari dyan? Ikaw ba ang lumapit sa kanila? Ang agent mo ba lumapit sa ang nilapitan? Paano? Kwento mo nga sa atin kung paano ka napagpad dyan sa B-League.
Kasi parang, anong nangyari kasi, nakita ko si Teddy nasa Japan. Parang sabi ko, ayos doon. So ginawa ko, may tito ako sa Japan. Sabi ko, Tito, may kilala ka ba sa B-League or baka may info ka paano ba mag-tryout? So, sabi ko sa kanya, plano ko mag-tryout. Wala nang mawawala sa akin tryout ako. So, hindi ko yung info, ganun-ganun, ang mga kailangan gawin, etc. So, nakita ko na yung info, may mga babayaran, sila pumunta doon, ganun-ganun. Tapos biglang may kakilala si Tito na may contact sa B-League, ganun-ganun. Tapos parang humingi ng highlights ko, ganun-ganun. Mga around early August, nag-training na ako noon sa Pasig, Santa Lucia Realtors for field basket. So early August yun. Then, nag-Zoom meeting kami. B3 team to. Wala pa akong agent. So sa Zoom meeting, ako, kasama ko yung tito ko, then coaching staff, team owner, then manager ng team. Hindi ko na-disclose. Tokyo B3 team.
Okay.
So nag-meeting, blah, blah, etc. Ganun, nagbigay ng offer, ganun. Then, parang halos same lang sa nakuha ko sa Pasig yung binigay na offer. So sabi ko, dito lang ako sa Pasig. Di pa ako alis ng bansa, diba? So, ayun. So, talagang plano ko, sabi ko, field basket lang ako, then PBA na, yun yung plano. Then around, I think it was mga third week ng August, may nag-contact sa akin si Coach Patrick from Better Basketball, kung kilala niyo siya. Nag-message siya na parang may mga teams daw sa Japan, sabi niya, Matt, may mga teams sa Japan na naghahanap ng big man. So nagulat ako. Sabi ko, sige Coach G, ako dyan. So kinontak ko si Coach Patrick, then pinakalala niya ako sa mga agents ko na si Tim and si Rado. Sila yung mga agent ko. Then, ayun, doon na dumating. Parang pinakilala nila ako sa mga team, parang binenta ako sa mga team, ganun-ganun. Then ayun na, biglang sabi nila, Matt, may mga interesado, blah, 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 etc. Then, may pag-meeting ako sa isang team, nag-offer yung mga ibang team. Then, ayun na. Ito na yung pinili ko, yung Shinshu Brave Warriors.
Oo. Well, nabanggit mo in one of your interviews na may mga ibang offer nga, no? At ito yung napili mo dahil mas madidevelop ka. What did you mean by that? Ano ang ibig mo sabihin na sa tingin mo mas maganda ang chance mong ma-develop dito sa Shinshu Warriors?
Kasi nakita ko yung roster nila at saka in-explain din nung coach nila na maliit lang yung rotation nila. Like, saka pinakita sa akin kung paano yung system nila, like paano sila maglaro, gano'n. Parang nakita ko na, parang mag-fit ako sa system nila. Tsaka syempre, unang tingnan ko is, tsaka ng family, like, saan ako bibigyan ng playing time? Yun naman yun eh. Like, di ko na titignan masyado yung offer talaga. Tingnan ko lang kung saan ako gagaling, saan ako nade-develop talaga, like, self-develop. Ito yung tingnan namin. Lalo na, kami ni Airpat, basically, talaga. And nakita naman yan dito sa Shinshu Brave Warriors.
Nabanggit mo, Matt, ang daddy mo, and again, in some of your interviews, nasabi mo na very, very involved si Marlu sa naging proseso, sa naging desisyon, and of course, sa pagpili mo ng team, yung Shinshu Warriors. Kwento mo nga sa atin, ano ba pinag-usapan ninyo ni daddy? At anong mga bagay-bagay na naging consideration ninyo? Kaya nyo napili ang Shinshu Warriors at ang B-League for that matter.
Siyempre, unang-una, discuss namin kung ano yung nangyayari sa Pilipinas ngayon. Di ba yung number one, COVID, sobrang unpredictable eh. Like, di natin masabi. Ang nangyayari kasi talaga is, ang plano namin field basket, di ba? Ang nangyayari kasi, pa-move yung opening Like, paurong ng paurong. Eh, yung mga offer nandyan na. So, talagang mga ilang days kami nun, usap kami na usap, like, ano ba plano, ganun. So, dumating sa point na kinausap din ng mga agents ko si Airpat, explain yung benefits, etc., ganun. Then hanggang sa, yun yan, nakapag-decide na kami talaga na. So, naging thought na rin ni Airpat na maganda na, doon na lang ako sa Japan. At least dito, sure, makapaglaro ako. Saka, yun nga, yung offer din, tsaka yung team na nakapili namin para makapag-improve ako. Ayun.
But in that sense, yung so playing time, na consideration yan, yung of course yung lugar and of course yung role na ibibigay sa iyo. What about yung yung financial package? Yan ba malaking bagay sa naging desisyon mo?
So, totoo lang hindi. Kasi yung ibang team, mas malaki yung offer. Pero ito pa rin yung pinili kong team. Pinili namin na team. Ang decide namin na ito na lang. Kumbaga yung offer, hindi na namin masyado iniisip.
Ngayon na papunta ka na, maglalaro ka na dyan, ano ang pinakamagandang advice na binigay sa iyo ni Marlo?
Huwag daw ako ma-pressure. Huwag daw ako ma-pressure. Sabi niya, parang puputok kayo sa Pilipinas, mag-ready ka na, ganun. So, ready lang daw ako. Basta palaging ready, huwag daw ako ma-pressure. And enjoyin ko lang kasi hindi lahat ng tao nabibigyan daw ng gantong opportunity. Pakita ko lang daw kung natinrabaho ko.
Pero alam mo, miski sabihin natin huwag kang ma-pressure, miski sabihin natin sanay ka na, doon sa pagiging anak ng isang PBA great katulad ni Marlo Aquino, nandun pa rin yun eh. At the end of the day, meron pa rin paghahambing, comparison na gagawin between you and your father, na ang dami-daming fans of course. How is that affecting your mindset? At the same time, considering na ikaw ay maglalaro in a high-profile league for the first time sa labas pa ng bansa. Ano ang nagiging epekto nito sa'yo? What is your mindset, Matt?
Ngayon, so totoo lang, ginagawa ko na talaga siyang motivation eh. Di ba? Extra push talaga to work harder every day para at least ma-meet yung expectation sa akin, di ba? I mean, pagkatrabaho ko naman to eh. Nag-enjoy din ako sa ginagawa ko. So, talagang ginagawa ko na as motivation talaga. Like, extra push to work harder every day.
All right. Well, obviously, it is going to be an exciting time for you, and I'm sure na si Marlo will have many things to say. Alam naman natin ang mga ama, gusto lang ang pinaka-the best para sa kanilang anak. But let me ask you, Matt, in your conversations with your family, kay Marlo, of course, ano ang ultimate plan niyo? How long ang iniisip niyong paglalaro dyan sa B-League? In the first place, how long is your contract? Isang taon lang ba? 3 years.
Opo, 3 years.
Wow, 3 years. Wow, okay. So, minimum 3 taon maglalaro ka dyan, and I guess you will assess that. As a local player, do you get different benefits, the same benefits, or better benefits than an Asian import?
Hindi ko alam eh. Hindi ko naman alam patakaran pag Asian import. So, hindi ko alam. Hindi ko talaga.
Pero ano ang pakiramdam mo? Paano ang diferensya ng trato sa isang local at saka sa isang import?
Parang same lang namin halos nung pumasok ako sa team, parang pare-parehas naman yung treatment. Ang mali lang nila, akala nila nag-aapon ako. Pagpasok ako sa practice, lahat sila nilinihonggo ko. Sabi ko, sorry, don't understand. Sabi ko, don't understand.
Oh.
Kaya sabi nila, you're Japanese, right? Sabi ko, yeah. Pero I don't speak Japanese, sorry.
Well, matututo ka rin eh. 3 taon ka palang titira dyan eh. Lalo na may mga kamag-anak ka dyan. Alam mo, maraming of course ang nagmamasid, sumusuri. Bakit ang mga ibang Pilipino, yung mga young players katulad ninyo na napakalaki ng future ahead, bakit ang pinipili ay Japan B-League? What makes it so attractive para sa inyo, Matthew?
Kasi di ba napaparamdaman natin yung mga games ng B-League, talagang iba rin eh, like competitive basketball, tsaka syempre number 1, exposure. Like kami natin, di ba, iba yung B-League, di ba? Sabi nga nung owner or commissioner, di ba, parang aim nila, parang maging NBA sila. And nakikita naman natin sa future na yung B-League, lalaki pa to. Like talagang maganda future ng B-League. Di ba? Hindi naman pupunta dito yung mga tao na nasa PBA na, di ba? Wala silang nakikita future dito eh.
So talaga nakikita mo yung plans ng B-League and of course yung hype. Ako, personally, I've seen how they promote. Nakakatuwa, you know, they use mga anime. Very young, very hip yung kanilang creative thinking dyan sa B-League. Kaya rin siguro nakaka-attract ng mga bata kasi alam ko naman kayo, ang nakikita nyo ngayon, mga video games, mga, di ba? And of course, yung itsurang bata. And I think that's also a plus
Factor.
for the B-League. Oh. But ito tanong, no? Alam naman natin na nandiyan ang PBA. Do you have plans? Sabi mo nga, 3 taon ka na nakakontrata sa Shinshu. May plano ka ba na maglaro para sa PBA pa rin?
Siyempre yung PBA, ever since bata, pangarap ko na yan eh. PBA will always be the end goal ko. Diba? Pero now, siguro focus muna ako dito sa 3 years ko sa Japan, then we'll see how it goes.
Yan po ang ating panayam with Matt Aquino, ang 9th player na papunta na po ng Japan B-League. For the full interview ni Matt Aquino, puntahan nyo lang po ang aming Facebook page sa Power and Play and yung Noli Iala YouTube channel. Of course, nasabi rin niya, he was not concerned about the draft dodger rule ng PBA and that he's just excited to play para sa kanyang koponan dyan sa Japan B-League. Maraming salamat kay Matthew Aquino. Alright, dun po sa mga nagpadala ng kanilang kuro-kuro sa ating pinusuhan ngayong araw na to. Sino inyong 5 greatest players of all time? Basahin ko lang yung ilan. Yung kay Philip, si Philip Mattel, sabi niya MJ, LeBron, Bill Russell, Kareem, Wilt Chamberlain. Ang sabi niya, no? Sabi naman ni Aaron Bayato, MJ, Kobe, Kareem, Bill, and Tim Duncan. Aba, Tim Duncan. From Sally's Rants, Magic, MJ, Bird, Russell, and Kareem. Marami pa po nagpadala pero naubusan na tayo ng oras. Ako personally, I said, ako, Kareem, Magic, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Magic Johnson, and for me, the final one is Hakeem Olajuwon. Ako, nag-enjoy ako sa pagpapanood kay Hakeem and I think he's one of the best kung nabigyan lang siya ng more time to play the game. Alright, diyan po nagwawakas ang ating palatuntunan. Again, to the staff and personnel of Acea Beach Resort sa Subic, marami pong salamat. We will be back here again next month as we continue our partnership with Acea Beach Resort. Kung kayo may gustong puntahan po na relax, chillax, marami magagawa for the family and of course para makapagpahinga from our quarantine restrictions, Acea Beach Resort po ang inyong puntahan dito sa Subic. And as we always say, tuwing Sabado ng umaga, bawal ang masungit. At sa lahat po ng ating gawain, ad maiorem Dei Gloriam, all for the greater glory of God. Kami po ang 1PH, teleserbisyo para sa Pilipino. Happy Sports Weekend mga kapatid. More power, more play from Acea Beach Resort.